Dallas Willard, in The Renovation of the Heart, he talks about how we're always being formed, that the question is by what?
Yeah.
We're being formed by our world, by the information we consume, the ideas that we think, the affects that we engage all around us. And spiritual formation is the determination to let Jesus be in charge of who we become. And so I really like that idea that Christian spiritual formation is letting Jesus be in charge of who I am and what I become
Yeah.
in my life, because I'm always going to be formed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as I engage with Jesus in relationship to him and with others, and to use very Willardian language, is I do the things he invited me to do,
Yeah. Yeah.
I will become more like Jesus. So Christian
Yeah.
spiritual formation is about becoming formed into the image of Jesus and letting Jesus be in charge of how that happens.
Yeah. And so maybe digging even just a little bit deeper, to what end? Why do we need to be like Jesus? What's the good of that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, and this is where, our center used to be called the Fuller Center for Spiritual and Missional Formation.
Hmm.
And one of the reasons is because I want to bring a corrective to the way we think about formation,
Hmm.
because becoming like Jesus always leads to participating with what God's doing in the world.
Yeah.
There is no separation between spiritual formation and mission in the scriptures.
Hmm. Yep.
The image of God in the garden was placed in the garden to make everything better.
Yeah.
In Genesis 1, everything's good, everything's good, everything's good. And then the image of God's there and everything goes from good to very good. That's when
Yeah.
God declared, oh, now it's very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because the image of God makes everything better.
Yeah.
Good example. We worked at a church I did with a church in southern Sudan. It was the only church in a 100-mile radius serving about 300,000 people.
Hmm.
And it was one of those things where everything closer to the church itself, which was up on a hill, was actually better. There was less infant mortality. There was less illiteracy, less child abuse,
Yeah.
spouse abuse. It was just amazing to see
Yeah.
the impact of the people of God on the
Mhm.
community around them.
Yeah.
Because that's what the image of God does in the world. So when we become like Jesus, wherever we go, things are to get better because we're
Yeah.
the representation of God's goodness
Yeah.
in the world. And
Yeah.
so that's what we do. We become like Christ to enact the kingdom as if he were us in our space.